Alrighty, we're back for Trimet board meeting. This is part 5. Rippy did most of the calls for yesterday, so I have some energy left to finish this up. I thought board meeting's not done. I thought it was done, but apparently it's not, so there's something else here. Let's see if we can, there it is. Let's see. What are they going to, there he is. I don't hear you. This is our last meeting of him, man. This is it for him. And personally, I won't be particularly sad to see him go, as I've already said.
I separate from
Okay.
Master Award ceremony.
Let's see. Let's go back.
Thank you. We're going to continue to bring forward, great employees and tell our stories.
Yeah.
Cindy is just a fabulous employee, and I went to her Gold Master Award ceremony, and she had riders that she transport at the ceremony meeting at Merlot. It just tell you what type of person that she is.
Yeah, she's obviously great what she does.
Yeah, of course, Cindy. She's going to die in the seat. Cindy, you deserve better than dying in the seat, okay? A worldwide traveler, an international photographer. I mean, if a complete loser bum like me, blogger guy, can have a great time on retirement, you certainly can. I mean, I'm having the greatest life, and I don't do anything. And look at what you do. You do everything. So you would not have a boring second.
Sam, some of us have looked at her website for her photography.
Yeah, it's good.
I mean, she is a master photographer.
Yes.
She's not just somebody who casually takes pictures. And we think that some of her photographs would be great in conference rooms.
Yeah.
At Trimet. But,
there you go.
It really begs the question, how many other staff have avocational interests that none of us know about that kind of adds another dimension to what Trimet's all about? I think of the bus driver that used to be.
Well, maybe Simmons isn't so bad after all. I kind of like some of this. Simmons was the one that jettisoned the extension on the police contract. She really didn't want any extensions to discuss that police contract, which is why I hate her guts. But she sounds like a decent woman in this clip.
A Portland trailblazer that we didn't know. They separate from the work that they do with.
Maybe you board members should get to know your transit drivers. Why don't you guys get out there and ride around with these people and experience it firsthand? Why don't you just follow my blog if you want to see what the other side looks like?
And I think it gives a lot of fabric and depth to our organization. I'd be really curious to do a survey to find.
Look, she's got birds in the back here. It can't be all bad if you like birds. See those birds? Anybody who has pictures of birds can't be all bad. Hear those birds those are the birds underneath my air conditioner. There's a whole nest under there. And they just chirp all day long.
Find out what people's interests are and avocational interests are outside of work.
I love it. I think you're directly on, Director Simmons, on that. I was talking to a young man the other day. He, at one time, was the vice president at Universal Studios in California, but he's an operator for us.
Right. See, I just think that it would just be so fascinating. But I mean, her work is absolutely, I've never seen anything as absolutely, it's just priceless. Her photography is just priceless.
Yeah, she's good.
Excellent look now. Thank you.
There's no doubt about that.
Well, Mr. General Manager, are you and the staff ready to begin our briefing?
We are. I'll kick us off.
So what do we have? A board briefing and a board meeting all at once here? Is that what's going on? Because they finished the board meeting. So what is this meeting?
You're ready to start.
Yeah, let's see how we're doing with getting everybody back here. I think we're here. I think you can probably get started, Mr. General Manager.
All right, President Warner and board, thank you. And as we move forward to our future of going to a zero emissions fleet on or before, and I'll highlight before 2040.
2040, like we're 2040. It's 20 years. I'll be dead, most likely. I mean, anything is possible, but 20 years. How about like 3 years? Well, I guess, you just bought a bunch of other buses. You got to, I don't know. The whole zero emission bus is a good thing. There's no doubt about it, but it really makes no effect on the overall environment. It does make an effect for people's lives that live on the streets. So, yeah, okay.
We continue to test our electric bus fleet and wanted to thank Roland Hoskins, our Executive Director of Maintenance, and his entire division for putting all of the efforts that we are moving forward with testing. The technology still has some kinks that we are working out, but things are really looking good right now. So I would like to bring in Young Park, who is our project manager for electric bus testing, to give us all an update. So Young, I'll just turn it over to you.
Yes, President Warner, board members, General Manager, it's a pleasure to be back.
Who is he?
Present for you some highlights of our progress in our roadmap for zero emissions.
Who's this guy?
Jeff, if I have, thank you very much. I have some slides here to share with you.
Who's this guy? Oh, okay. We're going to have electric bus presentation.
Everybody see this?
The electric buses they're using now are crap. Constant problems.
Young, could you move the what looks to be the video box off the screen? Just kind of drag it toward the bottom would be fine. Yeah, that's good. Thank you.
Perfect. All right. No matter what
That guy Jeff, I guess, he's the leader and technology guy.
platform of propulsion, all buses must be safe, reliable, and robust. And our first fleet of our electric buses built by New Flyer has had its shares of ups and downs, major tribulations, and as well as successes. We are entering our third year of this fleet. And I'm here to share with you some good news that the buses are back. After taking most of last year off
Wow.
due to major issues we encountered on the communication side of the buses. And I like to use a three-legged stool analogy. You have the bus, in this case being that these buses was categorized as short-range buses. We have about 200 kilowatts of battery packs. That's basically about double the size of a top-of-the-line Tesla. So a 40,000-pound bus, that is not a whole lot of batteries. Batteries by themselves could move this bus for about 85 miles before they run out of energy. So this bus is dependent on a industry-leading fast charger. When this was built and installed and commissioned in April of 2019, this was the fastest charging overhead system in North America. So that third-legged stool, which is the fast charger, must communicate with the bus. And the communications end on this bus site has had a share of issues. We've been very tenacious working with our partners. We do have a cooperative partnership with Portland General Electric, the bus company New Flyer, and our key stakeholders and our support staff for Merle maintenance and transportation and maintenance team to keep this bus to be moving forward instead of going backwards in order to go forward. So we took most of last year to basically work with the company to get brand new communication software integrated on the buses. Since then,
So these buses were out of service for a whole year. It's wonderful.
the buses has come back in February. We've seen things break that we've never thought would. We've also seen things work really well when they do. In the month of May, happy to report that when a bus is available, it's been deployed 100% of the time, both on weekdays and also on weekends. Collectively, we've logged over 5,500 sessions on the overhead charger and consumed 320,000 kilowatt hours of electricity. This bar shows typically what happens with one block of service. And there are 5 blocks that make the electric buses or make up the line 62 service. So beginning in the morning at about 5:30, and this bus goes basically continuously all day with the bus returning to the bus yard at 10:30 p.m. After each round trip of about 26 miles, the bus returns to Sunset Transit Center, connects at the overhead charger, replenishes the lost energy, and does the round trip again. Over and over, in this case, about 9 charge sessions. Each charge session costs about $10. So in effect, over this 220 miles of operations in a day, that's about $90 to fill this tank up. That's quite effective. And as we know in electric propulsion, the buses are very efficient.
Yeah.
We are now moving on with Chapter 2 of Phase 2 of our testing and have in our portfolio a number of new buses. And these are long-range applications. Whereas the New Flyer short-range bus has about 200 kilowatts of batteries, these buses have double and sometimes triple the capacity. The proving grounds for all of these bus platforms is the Line 20. It is one of our longest bus routes, about 23 miles each way. Starts in Gresham and goes across town to terminus at Beaverton Transit Center. And along that path has a lot of some interesting terrain, including a 1.5 mile climb of about 8% grade up the West Hills. So this is truly our proving grounds. All of our electric buses that we have procured and will be procuring have some specifications that this bus platform on its own, using the stored energy on that bus, once it's charged, needs to be on the road and provide a duty cycle of at least 150 miles. And when the bus returns to the yard, it should plug in and recharge that lost energy in 4 hours or less. So those are some of the key parameters. And we are in the midst of basically testing each of these bus platforms. I'll start with the first one. With the hiccups that we've encountered with our OEM New Flyer, they've been very generous in sharing with us 2 electric bus platforms, a 40-foot version and a 60-foot version, both that really have put some miles in. And these are lease returns from our colleagues up north in King County Metro. And these first 40-foot platform is a 480 kilowatt battery pack. And what we're showing here is that this bus could comfortably do about 180 miles in that duty cycle. We are, now that have put some miles in this, have basically put dummy passengers in this case, water barrels filled, and this is 3,700 pounds of additional weight on the bus to simulate a good weight and passengers. In addition to that 40-foot platform, we also have a bendy bus. This is a 60-foot all-electric platform, and it has over 600 kilowatts of batteries on it. Being that this bus is substantially heavier, what we're showing is a range of about 120 miles. Once we have an established pool of operators, we've begun the training curriculum, an early start as we get ready with the Division Transit project, training our trainers to train our operators. This bus will be doing some simulators.
Wait a minute. So Division is going to be electric bus? I was under the impression that Division Street was not going to be electric buses. It was going to be long buses, but there were going to be Nova diesel. So has something changed, or am I misinformed? Let me do some research here while I'm seeing while he's talking.
Service along the Mine 72. We also have first of our 5 total electric Gilligs that recently arrived. Everything inside the bus as well as outside is exactly what we have procured on the diesel platform. Just happens to be that this is an electric bus platform of about 440 kilowatts, very robust, and so far extremely reliable bus platform. As a holder of a CDL driver's license in training, it's been a privilege for me to get behind the wheel and take this bus out for a spin. And I've really been amazed by the torque, the acceleration, all the parameters that we are holding these bus platforms to. It basically climbs up the West Hills like a goat.
Yeah, according to this Trimet website here, the longer buses with more room. The project will include new 60-foot articulated buses which have room for 60% more riders than standard buses. These buses will feature multiple door boarding, allowing riders to board and exit quickly. And though they are longer than our current buses, these new buses are not wider. In September, the Board of Directors approved a resolution to award the project bus procurement to Nova. It doesn't say anything about these being electric buses, so there's nothing about this being electric.
And so far so good, and we will continue to do our testing this summer with the first bus planned to be programmed in and go live on the line 20. The remaining 4 buses are on queue to be in the production line starting in July, and will be here at the end of summer. We know these electric buses on a new platform are extremely expensive, so we are also doing a grand experiment and a test, basically retro-modding a diesel platform into an electric platform. And this is first of its kind, a bus platform, a bendy bus that we've nicknamed the Desert Rose. The desert comes from this electric bus being procured from Phoenix Transit on its general shell. And we paid $1,000 for it. And then it's been completely regutted and refurbished with electric propulsion, over 600 kilowatts of batteries. This bus is currently working in its final stages of validation testing at the shop. Myself as well as colleagues will be heading down there next week to do the final inspections, and once deemed acceptable, this bus will be shipped our way here, in addition to some 40-foot platforms. So these are mid-life Gillick diesel buses, and there's a total of 4 of these that were sent to our manufacturing plant in Riverside. And the company basically has once again refurbished this bus, taken away the diesel, and you can see here that it now has electric propulsion. A far more economical approach towards getting in that roadmap towards converting our non-diesel bus pad by 2040 or sooner. We are extremely excited and optimistic about this journey and the tests that we are undertaking. Definitely at this point, welcome questions that you all may have.
Well, that was all very nice. Yippee-doo.
Bruce, I have a question.
Please.
One of the things I know about the electric buses is that they're quiet. And I know when I visited other cities, they have resorted to putting sound on them so people don't step in front of them. Have we had any experience or have we thought about somehow making them more visible to walkers and bikers, scooter people, to avoid having any kind of mishaps?
We have, and that question and concern definitely has been voiced by both the operators as well as our customers. I call them our fan base on Line 62, and there are definitely many of them who have definitely missed us as we're taking a little bit of a pause. One approach that we have contemplated and have also investigated is a little chime that will be activated as the bus decelerates and starts pulling into the bus stop. It will activate with the...
Remember those audible alerts they were testing that got hundreds of thousands of dollars of pork to test? Bus is turning. The bus is turning. Remember that little pork barrel? More wasted money down the drain for a stupid idea.
Basically the indicator on and a speed of 50 miles per hour or less. So that's one approach that we have looked at, and we're currently looking at a demonstration with our bus OEM New Flyer in that collaboration. And you are indeed correct. The bus is extremely quiet, and it will sneak up on you.
Thank you. This is Lori. I was just going to say that, you know, our first trial with the battery electric buses was discouraging. Those buses were, you know, off the road for quite a long period of time. So it's really encouraging to me to hear that these additional trial efforts are going so much better, and that we can perhaps move forward with a low emission fleet as soon as we had hoped.
Thank you. We have sort of been the true leading edge, as I call it, because we definitely had our share of licks and wounds. This approach is now emulated across the United States. I see very similar, in fact, almost the exact clone of what has been set up here at Trimet, being implemented in Spokane, and to our friends up in Montreal and Toronto.
Your buddies?
And it's definitely
all your buddies.
Encouraging to hear from our colleagues as they sort of see us as sort of the true pioneers. As we have put more miles on this approach than anyone else in the U.S.
What?
They're now coming back and saying, how did you do this? What did you do to get things fixed? We know in our approach towards zero emissions, there is going to be a mixed approach in our fleet. For those buses and blocks of service that exceed the theoretical range of our long-range bus platform, and I believe there are some advancements now being made or purely on a bus platform itself, it could go, they say now from OEMs, up to 250 miles. But we have blocks out there that go beyond that. And earlier, board member Ozzy has explained that we are looking at a approach of looking at fuel cell as one source of a approach. But at the same time, there's also may need to be a network of on-route chargers. And so we are working on a plan that implements a strategy of this mixed fleet, and to base all of this operations at initially at Paul Garage. So Paul Garage is currently being built to be electric ready. Myrtle currently is and has been with a network of DC chargers that would accept this growing bus fleet. So we will be deploying these buses initially from Myrtle Garage, taking the lessons learned and the approach that we're taking, and sharing that with our colleagues at Paul Garage and get that bus garage up to speed.
Yeah, what happened to the Proterra? I don't get it.
Fantastic.
Huh.
I've got a comment to add, if I may, President Warner. Thank you, first of all, Young, on this report. I'm really pleased to hear that we are exploring a mixed technology option, and I recognize that we're on a learning curve, no matter which one we look at right now. I recognize
somehow China's been able to figure it out, but we, the Americans, our lovely Americans, can't figure it out. I'm not sure why Americans can't figure it out, but we can't. We're still on a learning curve. Meanwhile, China's got tens of thousands of these things.
we're on a national learning curve with other agencies as we look at this. And
yeah, China has 421,000 electric buses. Jeez. And we have 1,000 or something. Jesus. This one city in China has 16,000 electric buses and 22,000 electric taxis, says Shenzhen. They figured it out, but we can't because we're number one.
I recognize that we have a partner on the industry sector side that's on their own learning curve. So I appreciate that we're in a push and pull right now, realistically speaking, in testing, learning, breaking things, and figuring out what we need to focus on. I think that being transparent with other agencies, with the industry, is going to be key right now. And I encourage you and Sam and the team to acknowledge how much, to work across departments, frankly, to bring this learning curve to the entire organization. Because as a time as we're testing and giving feedback to our suppliers, we are also trying to figure out how to make informed decisions based on managing our carbon footprint. So not only do these buses have to serve the public, in an ideal world, they're making it as easy as possible for us to extract information about our carbon footprint. So those industry partners, I think, could do a lot.
Listen to this here. This comes from a website called Industry Week. Electric buses will take over half the world's fleet by 2025. But meanwhile, Trimet is 2040. So half the world will be electric by 2025. Trimet will be electric by 2040.
In helping meet us as far as they can in pushing that information our way from their supply chain, from their technology, and from the operations of their technology. So, you know, I know how important those communication systems will be, not just to day-to-day reliability, but also to that informed decision-making that we need to make. So I encourage you to bring that lesson out to our agency partners, to learn from what they're doing, and to bring that message to our industry partners. Internally, I really encourage you to do what you can to help us inform that carbon footprinting process that we're in the middle of now, because all of the lessons you're bringing through your learning curve are going to help us inform better policy, are going to help us better manage our financial resources to see, where we're investing as a research partner versus on a learning partner versus putting down on capital improvement. And we also have an open canvas of possibilities with how we get to the point where we have infrastructure in place. As we've seen, we can do a lot of great things with our utility partners. They have a need to position for, many different fuel types as well. So, I think that helping bring innovative ideas on how to get that infrastructure funded, installed, and operated is going to be key. And I encourage you to continue to be willing to break silos in how we address this and ask other agencies what they're doing to break those silos. I really appreciate the work you're doing. The public depends on us figuring this out. And I really appreciate you bringing this information back to the front of our minds today in the presentation.
Ozzy.
Great, thank you.
Look how cute he is, though. Look at he's a cute little guy.
I want to say, Director Gonzalez, thank you for those words there. Partnerships are going to be critical.
I do like Ozzy
as we move forward.
I do like the guy. I mean, he's an elitist, and he's called us on Twitter the sewer. He's admitted he's an elitist because he got on Twitter a few times and actually talked to Pooty. He just talked to me too. He's talked to me on Twitter. Nice guy, willing to communicate, but he does call us the sewer. So I mean, that's an elitist telling you, hey, you guys are in the sewer. That's pretty disrespectful, Ozzy, but, I get it.
And, we are establishing them locally, regionally, and nationally. So that's critical as we move forward here.
So you're okay. I'm worried about you, man. You're not.
Is President Warner still with us?
I don't know. In closing, I want to acknowledge our relationship with the state of Oregon and the governor's office. So much of our success will depend on Oregon being set up to supply us with local resources and local labor. And so we should see them as a partner and let them know what we need so that they can help, bring that message to rural Oregon.
Here's a article about electric buses. Oh, I can't get it because I'm not a member. In Australia, Brisbane's China-built electric bus fleet a disgrace. I don't know. I can't read it. This isn't.
As well, that's going to help Trimet meet this need. Thank you.
It's China.
So, Sam, this is Bruce. I'm going to drop off because my bandwidth is really failing me, or if you can hear me.
Yeah, we can. We could definitely hear you. I just want to say thanks to Young, Roland Hoskins, Tyler Bennett, and team. Just thank you for all the hard work. Keep pushing us forward. Keep us on the innovative edge as we continue to move forward, and leaders in this business. And as what Director Gonzalez said, we need to do this in partnership with local, state, federal, and this region as we move forward. So thank you for your hard work.
Great, thank you.
Well, that was a whole bunch of nothing, wasn't it? But okay, whatever. Nice, yep. Mm-hmm.
So, Director Bauman, I guess you're going to chair the meeting as we move forward. That's the update there from the battery electric portion. And I'm ready to kick us off for the last presentation if you're ready.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, so as we move forward with our Redline extension project, it's full steam ahead.
The Redline, that is the most ridiculous boondoggle I've ever seen. I mean, the red line already exists, and it already exists on already existing track. But somehow they figured out how to make a $200 million project on an already existing track. I think it's pure pork barrel. Another example of capital projects just trying to keep that money moving into that mafia over there. But let's hear what it is. Let's hear what they got to say about it.
And we call it the Better Red
The Better
project,
Red.
as you heard earlier from Pete.
Another stupid government name. They come up with all these dumb, like the CARES Act, like they care about you. Fuck, they don't care about you. Like the heroes, all these ridiculous names that come out of the government. This is the Better Red. Get out of here.
Who is our project director, and she's here this morning to give us an overview and update. But before I go to Paige, I want to bring Steve Witter in, our Executive Director of Engineering Construction, and I'll let him kick the presentation off. Steve?
Thank you, Sam. And I really like what is my audio off? One moment. Audio good?
Yes, we
We
can
can
hear
hear
you.
you, Steve.
We can hear you.
Okay, great. Thank you. Sam, I just really appreciate what you said, moving forward. And I like, Trimet is moving forward as we move out of this pandemic. And this is a great project. We have briefed the board a couple of times on what the Better Red project is.
What is it?
I'll let our project director, Paige Sloop, really get into the details, but it's really timely, or I should say Director Gonzalez's question on our previous
I can't wait to hear
contract, which is very similar to the same FTA program. His questions we're actually going to kind of get back into on this project as well, because we are introducing to our board of directors that in June, we will be modifying a number of contracts in order to move this project forward. And all those questions about cost certainty and risk and all those things are embedded in this project as well, because we're delivering a CMGC style project.
CMGC.
And I will say, Director Gonzalez, I owe a little bit of, I don't think an apology, but maybe a little bit of additional information based on your last question. I will be back in June for a division transit amendment for a little bit of our engineering team. So just, you can save some more questions for June on that one, but I will be back. But with that, it's my pleasure to introduce Paige Sloop, and she's been shepherding this project for over 2 years now, along with the great team that set her up in project planning department, as well as the great team that she's assembled for this. And so it's my pleasure to introduce Paige Sloop. She's a registered landscape architect in this state and many more.
Great. Thank you, Steve. And thank you,
Sloop.
Board of Directors, for helping, for inviting me here to share on this great project. I'm having some challenges with my presentation, so bear with me. I guess you get to see the slide version, which I'd rather show you the slideshow, but looks like that's what we get.
Paige, we had the full show a moment ago, but it clicked away.
I know, it's really weird. I'll try stopping one more time and start one more time. See if we can get it right. Why don't I do this? I think this might work.
That looks good.
All right, thank you. So first of all, Max Redline project, we have a couple of new board members. So I wanted to give a little bit of background. I'll hit on it really lightly, knowing many of you have heard this many times, but also add the caveat that my last slide is a website that will be a reference for everyone, that if others want to go and get more information on the project or share that or have any questions, we're glad to answer that. So quick chance to jog your memory. This is the Redline Extension and Reliability Improvements Project. It has two parts of it, the extension part and the improving our existing system.
Now, Jason McHuff is a big apologist for this. But Jason McHuff's a big apologist for everything.
It's also branded as the Better Red, and that's sort of our public name that we use for it. On the west side of the project, we're extending the Max Redline 10 stations. So that's using existing stations and expanding that one-seat service to the airport. as well as building an operator brake facility at the new end of the line there. That involves a lot of systems and track work, but not a lot of the major construction work we're used to seeing when we're building a new light rail line. The reliability improvements part of the project is on the east side. So currently the Redline has a couple of segments in it that are single track. And we're going to be taking those single track segments, making them double track, which makes our whole system more reliable for all of our riders, because there's always a bottleneck where our Redline joins at the gateway area. And sometimes people have, the way it works, one train ends up waiting for another train that holds up another train while that single track segment is trying to iron out those kinks. And so we're going to be taking a portion at the gateway, taking double track, that section, and a segment at the airport, as well as rebuilding the airport station. Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt you. I don't know if you're intending to advance the slides to that slide with the network, but they have not advanced. Okay, thanks.
All right,
thank you, Steve. I appreciate it. And so rebuilding the airport station with our partners at the port, and adding an inbound only station at the gateway area. And that's, imagine, only about 10% of users will use that station to transfer to the blue or green line. Quick touch on our schedule. Construction is imagined to begin this summer. That's our intent. It starts primarily in the gateway area as well as the Hillsborough area. And later we start on that airport segment, with the project wrapping up for an opening for revenue service in September 2024. So where are we at? Right now, we just finished 100% design.
Show me what it is.
That's a big milestone for us. It's been years of planning and design that have gotten us here, and we have a really great construction set. We have negotiated a total contract price with our construction contractor, the CMGC, and we've submitted a draft of our scope and our cost and our schedule to the FTA, and it's under review right now. We're expecting some comments back from them in the near future. And so what's next? Our next steps in the project is, after we get that FTA review and finalize certain details, we officially submit our finance plan and rating materials in advance of getting a single-year grant award from the FTA. That is expected in August or September of this year. And there's certain items prior to that grant that we have pre-award authority that we can...
See, this really, you really have to understand, this is all what I call pork barrel. All of this is pork barrel. This is how the government siphons its money to the elites, is through these type of projects. Because all of these people here are making six-figure salaries, and all the private companies which are doing this construction, all the owners of those companies are raking in profit. And is it really necessary? I don't see why. This especially, I don't see why anybody would bother with this, other than it's the feds are giving away money and you want your cronies to get it, of course.
We can move forward with that, such as property acquisitions and vehicle procurement.
What are they?
So those parts of the contracts are already in motion. But we'll be seeking on top of that, in addition to that, we'll be seeking a letter of no prejudice from the FTA to do a limited notice to proceed to our contractor to start some work early. A lot of that early work is steel procurement.
So this hasn't even started yet. They're just a bunch of office people writing things on paper. It's not. See, these projects, thank God the public didn't get fooled into funding that the Southwest Corridor thing, because it's just this giant pork barrel for everybody involved in it, with very limited, if any, positive aspects for the public. I don't see how this is going to have any positive impacts for the public at all, but let's listen.
Procurement, other materials procurement for more volatile items, because we know prices are going up and down. So we want to lock that in right now. We've got this TCP.
You don't want to lock it in now because the prices are high.
Price from our contractor. And
of course, when the economy can collapse at any moment. There can be any little, we're already at a spot here where anything can happen.
To make sure that we get these materials, especially the long lead items as well, rolling. And it's also a great way to keep our staff moving without a lull and start working on things like traffic control plans and working with our partners on aspects of that scope.
See all the bureaucracy involved with this? It's just this giant labyrinth of bureaucracy.
So that means that we'll be coming to the board in June. And we're going to be seeking modifications to existing contracts that we already have. That includes moving forward with the construction contract. We have that TCP. It's at $138.5 million.
138.5 million. Stacy and Whitback, of course. Siemens, of course. Parametrics, I've heard that name before.
Add contingency on top of that, and we're working on those dollars. So we'll bring that to the board in June, as well as adding design services during construction, which is our designer support during that construction phase with our contractor Parametrics. We'll also seek to add the 4 light rail vehicles that are also part of this project scope, and we're tagging those on to the existing contract with Siemens for the Type 6 LRVs that are replacing the Type 1s. We haven't fully determined. We think we have a strong documentation of the agency's commitment to this project for the FTA, but there's a chance we might need to come and get something that really buttons that up for the FTA and confirms that Trimet is on board with this project. So we always ask about Dbe participation. How are we doing? These are existing contracts, and where are we at with that? With our Parametrics design contract, we are currently the goal was 19% for that design contract. We're currently at 18.9. There's always a lag time between contractors and subcontractors and billing and payment, and so we're at 16.5% that we've actually paid out towards that contractor. With this DSDC contract that we're bringing in to the board in June, we expect those numbers will bring us right up to that 19% or more
Hand out
for
the
that
pork.
project. So
Hand
we're
out the
almost
pork.
there. We're going to get there. For construction, the DBE goal is 20% participation. We've had 3
DBE, Disadvantaged Business Enterprise, I believe.
DBE subs that worked as part of our pre-construction services, which has been nice.
The pre-construction.
We've hosted subcontractor outreach and had a virtual event that was available.
It's a giant pork barrel for everybody involved. And that's the real goal. That's the goal of all of these projects.
On the contractor's website for anyone to follow later. And included some sub-bidding opportunities there that were incorporated into that final TCP price, finalizing that 20%. And last but not least is our website, the Better Red website, which is at trimet.org/BetterRed. There's a lot of information here, any pretty pictures and illustrations. There's a video that explains the project in 2 languages, English and Spanish. Information about construction, contracting, and contact information if people have questions about the project.
And what exactly is it?
With that, that is my update.
That's it?
For this project. Do we have any questions?
That's it?
From the group.
There's no update there. What is that? It's nothing. Why don't you tell us why this is so great, this project? What's it going to do for people?
Hearing silence.
So when can we ride?
Not for years.
2024. Really excited. It'll be great. A good time. I'm definitely looking forward to getting into construction and getting those jobs going too for this region.
Yeah, get the region.
I think it's predicted to bring 1,200 jobs.
No, where's the
to this region?
Where's the Better Red?
Ballpark number.
Better.
Yeah.
It didn't
this
work.
is a great presentation, and I really appreciate the update and learning about
Better
it.
Red.
Yeah.
Is this it?
Thanks.
I always am impatient. I wish it could happen sooner, but
I
I understand
know.
it's very complex.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate your enthusiasm too, because we're pretty enthusiastic about.
So what does it do?
enthusiastic
What's the
about
big
ourselves,
fucking deal
so-
with this? All right, let's see.
Great.
And I know that, and I have a comment on the diversity and equity.
The MAX
work.
Redline provides vital connections within our region, including service to Portland International Airport. As we continue to improve our transit system, we're planning to extend the Redline service to the Fair Complex Center in Hillsborough and make improvements that will increase reliability for the entire MAX system.
Like what?
Riders in Beaverton and Hillsborough have been
that's
asking for more MAX service for years, and we can see why. Currently, the Redline turns around at Beaverton Transit Center, and Blue Line trains, which continue west to Hillsborough, are often packed. We have a plan to extend the Redline service to 10 more West Side stations, so that Redline riders will be able to travel all the way to Fair Complex Hillsborough Airport MAX station. For this expansion, we will be improving tracks and switches, adding signals, and adding an operator brake facility. On the east side, we're making changes that will help the entire MAX system stay on schedule. We'll be adding a second track to sections of the Red Line near Gateway Northeast 99th Avenue Transit Center and Portland International Airport. With the
Okay, that might, wait a minute, Gateway, that's a second track. How about a second track all the way to goddamn Rose Quarter?
existing single track, even a small delay on a Red Line train affects Green and Blue Line trains passing through Gateway and has a domino effect that spreads throughout the system to the Yellow and Orange lines too. The new second track at Gateway will also mean faster trips for Red Line riders heading west by separating trains heading to PDX from trains heading to Portland City Center, Beaverton, and Hillsborough. With the new tracks, we'll build a new platform for trains coming from PDX. The new platform will only be used by Red Line trains coming from PDX and continuing to downtown Portland and beyond. The existing Gateway platforms will be served by Red Line trains heading toward PDX, as well as Blue and Green Line trains. A new pathway will connect the new and existing platforms. North of the new Red Line platform, a new pathway will parallel the new MAX tracks over the freeway and railroad tracks, creating a new connection to Gateway Green Park. Design and engineering will continue through 2020, and construction could begin as early as 2021, with the project complete in 2024. We are excited to grow and improve the MAX system with a better red. To learn more, visit Trimet.
I don't get it. What's the big deal?
I want to first congratulate Trimet, our partners, SWI and Parametrics, on the work that they're doing. I fully understand how much we put this front and center in the procurement process and make it part of the delivery. I'm always looking to see how we can learn more from that process. So I encourage us in our projects to look beyond the numbers as best we can and try to connect with those suppliers that make up the percentages of COVID certified firms to make sure that they are coming out of this with a positive experience of working with Trimet and of working with those primes. Because the percentages, they tell you the contract size, they don't tell you whether anybody made money and had a positive experience. So I encourage us to find a way to kind of catch that information because, you know, what's important for me for the public to know is that we do depend on happy suppliers that are working with us, that are having a positive experience so that we continue to grow that supply chain of local community businesses. So that's something I encourage us to do. And thank you so much once again. Great presentation.
Yeah, lovely.
Thank you.
Great. Fantastic. Didn't say anything really.
Well, this is Steve and Paige. Terrific presentation, and we just really applaud you and your team. So many to mention, and I'm really hopeful, Director Simmons, that we can quell your patience with a groundbreaking in person. Wouldn't that be terrific to sort of finally get ourselves out of this video screen world and get us all together and turn some shovels. So
COVID World Order, man. COVID World Order, the biggest thing, the greatest thing that ever happened to the elites and the worst thing that happened to everybody else.
And then just to reinforce what Director Gonzalez said, I think we're looking for our contractor to do some innovative things with growing capacity on our certified firms. and we'll look forward to sharing that when those plans firm up, but really trying to give some leadership opportunities to certified firms and not just, sub work. So.
Hand out the pork.
Yeah, Steve, I think it is worth mentioning on that lines, we have set this contract up to have what we call a mini CMGC. So we have our main CMGC contractor, and we've reached out to have a DBE subcontractor that kind of follows that main contractor's.
Yeah, it's just pork. We got pork going in this direction, and we also have pork going in that direction. So we want to make sure that pork gets out to these different people. That's really what they're saying, but it's not. I'm not making that up. They got all this pork. They want to make sure it gets sent to various places.
Process on a smaller scale. So we've taken a chunk of the project, made a little CMGC project for a mentorship part of this project, and we're really excited about that part of it too. That's focused on the west side.
Wow, it's an hour.
Yeah.
I hope our fellow agency partners in the region are listening. That's a fantastic idea.
Yes, I like it.
Nobody's listening except me.
So Paige, I want to thank you and the team
I'm the only idiot stupid enough to watch this shit.
For keeping the project on track. You guys are doing a wonderful job.
Of course they are. Get out the video.
And Lori, are you still with us? I am here. Oh, good. Okay.
Get out the video.
Is that all that you have? Yes, Sam.
That is the end. I do want to give the board just a quick update. Dee Brookshire and I were talking. I am pleased to report to you as well that we have received a positive rating report from our Standard & Poor's on our senior lien debt. The outlook status has been
buy the bonds. Your public transportation district can make you goddamn billionaires some easy money.
Changed from negative to stable, and our AAA rating has been affirmed. As you all may recall, all transit status was changed to negative at the onset of the pandemic. So S&P have come along and changed the status following the second round of the
country
stimulus
full of criminals, for criminals.
And our conditions warrant the change. So it's really great news for the organization.
The entire country exists to support the elites, every aspect of this society.
For Dee and her team, and wanted to just let the board know that.
Thank you. Say, wondering if you could give us an update on the bus operator that was shot.
Oh yeah, see now, okay, she finally asked. Well, this should have been part of his. This should have been in the goddamn general manager report, but as I stated in that segment, they just leave everything negative out so that you can't hear it. So I'm amazed she asked.
Thank you, Director Simmons. So
and they put it.
We just got an update this morning.
And they put it in at the very end of this thing too. At the very end.
On the operator, he will have surgery tomorrow to remove a tiny piece of glass that's still in his eye. He talked with the management team this morning. His eyes are very watery and itchy right now, and there's a portion of the bullet that's still lodged in his chest. The bullet broke his clavicle, and it's lodged in his chest, and there's conversations there about how and when the fragments will be removed there. We have also offered a reward for any information leading to the arrest of anyone that's out there that's seen and can provide information regarding our employee being hurt. So that's something that we're constantly working on, and the investigation is ongoing.
Sure. Yeah.
Marla Blagg and our transit police chief, they're continuing to look at tape to see if we can identify anything. But as I stated to you this past weekend, the shooting occurred almost a block away from the bus and the bus operator. And the bullet traveled all the way and penetrated our bus.
So it wasn't a targeted thing. It was more of an errant bullet.
That's correct.
Okay, thank you. He's in my thoughts.
Yeah, he's in your thoughts. Let me see. I want to
Thank you, Director Simmons.
All right, let me, I want to share this. Copy. Here, this will be. All right, then want to just tweet that piece right there. Okay, so I think that's the end.
So we just got an update this morning on the operator, correct?
Okay, thank you. He's in my thoughts and prayers.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Absolutely.
For sure.
Did you just play?
Well, I want to go back to the good news about our bond rating. That really is once again a testament to our excellent financial management. So thank you. And that's great news for us going forward as we continue to invest in the system. All right. Is there anything else that anyone has to cover today before we close? All right. Hearing nothing.
I don't know why they didn't make her chairman of the board, because she's been the vice chairman. So why didn't they just make her chairman? Plus, she seems to handle the job good. She seems to be very efficient at it, to me. I'm surprised they didn't make her chairman.
Okay, good to see you all, board members. We will see you on June 7th in person for the interviews. We will be getting out the details on the location and when to be there. We hope in the next few days.
All right.
Thank you. All right. Thank you, everybody. Bye-bye.
I just wanted to say, Lori, I will be getting, I haven't finished looking, and I wanted to also say, I guess, that I really appreciate Kimberly sending me the redacted version of the resumes. Now that was important. Yes. That was important to me.
Too bad we don't get to know who applied, isn't it? This is terrible.
I see them that way without seeing any names. And
okay,
so,
good.
But I will have some questions, and I'll get them to you by Friday.
Thank you for...
How come we don't get to see them without the names? That's a good idea. Just show us the qualifications.
For mentioning that, Keith, that is we have asked board members to submit proposed questions to ask the finalists, and we've asked the community panel to do the same, and we would like to receive those by Friday so that we can collate them and remove duplicates and so on. Thank you again.
Okay.
All right.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Over and out. All right. That's cute. Let me show you something here. Some interesting things we got here on the Twitter. Here is this is the guy that brought all the guns on the bus. This is his or her, I don't know. This is their Twitter. There they are. That's the shotgun. This guy brought that shotgun on the bus with those shells. This looks like a pretty good representation of how he walked on the bus. It's pretty stupid, man. Okay. And now he's doing a fundraiser. He needs $2,000. He's got 235. Yeah. So help him. All right, and let me just see here. This is a great deek, by the way. This is a great deek. This is on the blog and it's pinned on my Twitter, so read it. And let's see what we got here. There's something here. Oh, here.
Dispatch, this is 935. I'm on Powell facing east. I'm at 42nd. I got a guy, he got off the bus already, but he yelled when he was on the bus that he's gonna fucking kill somebody on this bus. I asked him if he was okay. He said, yeah, I'm okay. I said, can't talk that way. It's very distracting. It's also, very threatening. and he seemed a little unstable. Do you want his description?
He seems a little unstable. Yeah, I think that would be it. And here's his latest tweet. Fuck the bus, fuck the state, fuck crackers. Okay. Let me see. Oh, I like the way he answered the radio. Watch this.
This is Bill.
All right, so we can...
Instead of answering his block, he said this. Oh, listen to this one. Listen to this.
4469 at Steel Bridge, Gleason and 3rd.
4469. All right, I got your emergency police. What do you have going on?
Someone just on the near side of the bridge here just threw I think a piece of rebar or something through one of my back windows.
Okay, copy. Is everybody all right? Is there anyone injured?
They're doing okay. They say they're just startled.
Yeah, lovely, huh? Okay. Here's another one.
This is Block 3134. I'm at the Oregon City Transit Center. Just want to give you a heads up. A guy just get off my bus. At 5'9". He has a knife. He's been waving it around outside.
That's great. Oh, here's a good loud verbal.
5767. I got a loud verbal with an open bottle of wine on my bus, and he needs to get off of the bus. Brains out? Yeah, okay.
If you want you to know that's a real power. Yeah, it's a real power. Get out of my face, digger. Bye, digger.
That?
How about this one?
7502 heading northbound 42nd and Schraber, Skidmore now. 7502, go ahead. Everything's okay. I just wanted to give you a heads up. There's a group of teenagers just got off the bus and sprayed a handful of other riders with that silly string stuff.
Oh, yeah. All right, I guess that's good. Oh, there's a trespasser in Center Street.
Report to Center Garage. We've got a trespasser in the building.
Oh, and here's a little Leon. Here, watch this.
I'm on the bus with one of the greatest bus drivers that ever lived. I'm on the bus with one of the greatest bus...
All right, that's long enough. This has gone over an hour, but I'm done with the Trimet board meeting for May. Yay!